Welcome back to the deep dive. We're here, as always, to take a whole stack of information, boil it down, and basically make you an instant expert on some really fascinating, sometimes overlooked topics.
That's the plan. And today, yeah, we're shifting gears a bit. We're leaving behind the usual East Asian cityscapes and heading somewhere, well, somewhere tropical. And maybe a little unexpected.
Exactly. We're tackling a place that, honestly, for a lot of really seasoned travelers, it's still kind of a blank on the map, even though it's huge.
It really is. We're diving into Hainan Island. It's China's southernmost province, and you often hear it called the Hawaii of China.
That Hawaii comparison. It's interesting, right? Because when most Westerners think Asia beach holiday, you immediately picture, Phuket, Bali, maybe the Philippines.
Right, those are the go-tos. Hainan sort of feels like this other thing, like this massive, super developed, maybe even luxurious tropical spot that's just flying under the radar for many. A bit of mystery.
And that's the mystery we want to unpack today. We've gone through the tourist guides, the travel reports, the cultural stuff.
And the mission is pretty clear. Does Hainan actually live up to that tropical paradise label? Or is it more like a really well-done theme park version for maybe mostly domestic tourists?
And the big question for you listening, is it actually worth maybe skipping Thailand this year and venturing over to Hainan instead?
Because there are some things we found that could seriously make you rethink your travel plans. I mean, really surprising stuff.
Yeah, like the visa situation. Well, it's kind of shocking how easy it is. That alone is a game changer.
Oh, absolutely. And then there's the infrastructure, a high-speed bullet train that literally circles the entire island.
Plus some seriously magical cultural sites, like that giant Guanyin statue. It's enormous, over 100 meters tall.
Dwarfs the Statue of Liberty, yeah. We're going to cover the logistics, how to get in, how to get around. We'll look at the different resort areas, especially down in Sanya.
And contrast that with the capital, Haiku, which sounds more about culture.
Exactly. And of course, the food. We have to talk about the food, especially the dish that kind of put Hainan on the global map, even if people don't realize it.
Okay, let's get right into it then, starting with the practical stuff, the logistics, because this seems to be where Hainan has a massive advantage.
Yeah, the infrastructure angle is key. You have to understand Hainan operates with this incredible efficiency because of all the investment.
Okay, so flying in. 2 main airports, right? And they sound pretty different.
Very different. Up north, you've got Hainan International Airport. Haiku's the capital city.
And it feels more business-like, less touristy.
Yeah, exactly. More administrative, maybe a bit industrial. It's the political heart, the cultural center, lots of history there.
Then down south, that's where the action is.
That's Sanya Phoenix International Airport. Sanya is the tourism engine. The reports we saw says something like 90% of international tourists fly into Sanya.
Okay. And flights, if you're coming from, say, the U.S. or Europe.
You're probably looking at a connection. Shanghai, Beijing, Guangzhou, one of the big mainland hubs.
But easier from within Asia.
Oh, yeah, much easier. Direct flights from Singapore, Hong Kong, Seoul, lots of places. So for people in Asia, it's a pretty straightforward short hop.
All right, now let's hit that point you mentioned earlier, the visa. Because this sounds like Hainan's secret weapon.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's probably the single biggest selling point for international travelers right now.
Because getting a regular Chinese tourist visa can be a hassle.
A major hassle. Lots of paperwork, appointments, fees. It takes time and money. But for Hainan specifically, citizens from 59 countries, and this includes the U.S., Canada, the UK, Australia, almost all of the EU, can visit Hainan for up to 30 days, completely visa-free.
Wait, completely visa-free for 30 days?
Yep.
That's incredible. That changes everything. All that planning, the stress, the cost of a normal visa, gone.
Exactly. You can literally just decide, hey, let's go to Hainan for a couple of weeks, book your flight and hotel, and you're good to go, assuming you're from one of those 59 countries.
It makes it as easy to visit as, like, Mexico or Thailand for those travelers.
Precisely. And you can see the strategy, right? They want to position Hainan as its own destination, separate from the mainland travel experience. Compete directly with Southeast Asia.
Are there any catches? Conditions?
A few, but they're pretty simple. You have to enter through a port in Hainan Haiku or Sanya Airport, for instance.
Okay, so you can't fly to Shanghai and then hop over.
Correct. It's an island-specific policy. And you can't travel to mainland China on this visa waiver. Stay within Hainan.
Makes sense. And registration.
You do need to be registered, but usually your hotel or travel agency handles that when you check in. It's pretty seamless for the tourist.
Wow. Okay. So you've landed, visa-free, easy customs. Now you need to get around. This island is big, right? Like Belgium-sized.
Roughly, yeah, about 250 miles top to bottom. And this is where that infrastructure investment really pays off again.
The bullet train.
The Hainan Island Rang high-speed railway. It's fantastic. World-class system, circles the entire coastline, connects all the major spots.
How fast are we talking? Like getting between Haiku in the north and Sanya in the south?
About 2 hours. Maybe a bit less on the fastest trains. It's incredibly efficient, clean, punctual.
And the cost. Is it affordable or more of a luxury thing?
Surprisingly affordable, actually, especially when you compare it to train travel in, say, Europe or Japan. Or even domestic flights. It's very accessible.
So perfect for day trips, like basing yourself in Sanya but popping up to Haiku for the day.
Absolutely ideal for that. Or splitting your stay between the two. It makes moving around the island incredibly easy. Standard class is comfortable, spacious.
That image of whizzing along the coast, palm trees flying by at high speed, that's pretty cool.
It is a unique experience. Now, for getting around within cities...
Taxis? Ride-sharing?
Yep, taxis are readily available, and Didi, which is basically the Chinese Uber, works very well.
Okay, but here comes the catch, I bet. Language barrier.
That's the main challenge. Outside the big international hotels in Sanya, English isn't widely spoken by drivers.
So, that tip you mentioned earlier, having the destination written down.
Crucial. Absolutely essential. Get your hotel address or the name of the restaurant or attraction, written clearly in Chinese characters.
Like a screenshot on your phone.
Perfect. Or print it out.
Yeah.
Trying to pronounce Romanized pinyin names often just leads to confusion. Show them the characters and you'll get where you need to go. Saves a lot of stress.
Good advice. What about renting a car? That dream of a coastal road trip.
Yeah, that's mostly going to stay a dream for international tourists. China doesn't recognize the international driving permit.
Ah. So unless you have an actual Chinese license...
Which is a whole process in itself. Renting a car is pretty much impossible. Honestly, with the bullet train and Didi, you don't really need one. Stick to those. It's much easier and safer.
Right. Less hassle, more vacation. Okay, let's talk about where to actually stay. This seems like a big decision point. Sanya's resort bays versus Haiku's culture.
Definitely. Sanya is the main draw for international tourism, the resort capital. But even within Sanya, it's not one monolithic place. There are 3 main bays, and they each have a very distinct personality.
Okay, let's break them down. Starting with the fanciest. Yalong Bay? Yalong 1.
That's the one. Yalong Bay is the premium address. This is where you find the big international luxury brands. St. Regis, Ritz-Carlton, Mandarin Oriental.
And the beach there is supposed to be the best?
Consensus says yes. Really soft, white sand, genuinely clear turquoise water. It looks the part. It's stunning.
What's the vibe like, though? Is it just hotels, or is there stuff to do?
It's very much a luxury bubble. Pristine, quiet, perfectly manicured. People who stay there tend to stay there, use the resort facilities, the private beach areas, eat at the hotel restaurants.
So not the place if you want local action, more for pure relaxation.
Exactly. High-end fly and flop. Tranquility is the main selling point.
Okay, moving on. Dadonghai Bay. Sounds different.
Totally different vibe. Dadonghai is much closer to downtown Sanya City, so it's easier to access local life. And the accommodation is much broader. Mid-range hotels, guest houses, more budget-friendly options too.
And the atmosphere. You said it has energy.
Loads of energy. It's lively, often crowded. The beach itself is packed with people, restaurants, bars, right on the sand. It feels much more active.
I also read it's really popular with Russian tourists.
Incredibly popular. You'll see signs in Russian, menus in Russian. It gives it a very specific, almost Mediterranean beach party feel sometimes.
Nice.
It's definitely not the serene escape of Yalong Bay. Think nightlife, activity.
Interesting. And the third main bay in Sanya, Sanya Bay itself.
Right. Sanya Bay is the longest stretch of sand. It runs right along the edge of the main city area.
That's the big draw there?
Sunsets. It's famous for absolutely incredible sunset views over the water. Lots of condo-style hotels and apartments there, too.
But maybe not the best for swimming?
Generally, no. The water quality and beach aren't usually rated as highly as Yalong or even Dadonghai. But for those long evening walks along the shore as the sun goes down, it's perfect.
So Sanya really makes you choose. Pure luxury, lively party, or sunset views and condo living.
Pretty much sums it up. You pick your bay based on your priority.
But what if your priority isn't just the beach? What if you want something more authentic? That brings us back to Haiku, the capital.
Exactly. Haiku is the choice if you're looking for culture, history, a feel for real Hainan, beyond the international resort zones.
It feels more like mainland China, just tropical.
Very much so. It's a bustling provincial capital.
Mm.
You see far fewer foreign tourists here compared to Sanya. It feels more lived in, less polished for tourism.
And the architecture. I was fascinated by those Kilu old streets.
Oh, the Keeler's fantastic. They're the historical heart of Haiku. These are colonial-era buildings, but with a unique tropical adaptation.
How so?
Kilu means something like raised building. They have these covered walkways on a ground floor supported by pillars. It blends Chinese and European styles, arched doorways, detailed facades.
And practical, too, right? Shade from the sun, shelter from the rain.
Absolutely perfect for the climate. Makes the streets really walkable. And these old streets are buzzing, full of little shops, local markets, and especially food stalls and small restaurants. It's where you really feel the pulse of local life.
So Haiku offers that dose of authenticity you might miss if you just stay in a Sanya resort bubble.
Definitely. It's a totally different experience.
Okay, let's recap that choice for listeners. Yalong Bay for quiet luxury. Dadon Hai for energy and nightlife. Sanya Bay for sunsets. And Haiku for history, culture, and a more local feel.
And remember, with that bullet train, you can easily base yourself in one and still experience the others on day trips.
Right, that makes it flexible. Okay, my favorite part. The food. Let's dive into Hainan's culinary scene. It's not just generic Chinese food, is it?
Not at all. It has its own distinct identity, really shaped by the tropical environment and local ingredients. And we have to start with the big one.
Wenchang chicken, or as most of the world knows it.
Hainanese chicken rice. But experiencing it here, in Wenchang or anywhere in Hainan, is kind of essential. It's different from the versions you get in Singapore or Malaysia.
How so? What's the Hainan style?
It's all about subtlety and purity of flavor. They use a specific local chicken breed, usually leaner. It's gently poached in a master stock with ginger, maybe some garlic.
And served hot?
Often served at room temperature, actually.
Mm-hmm.
This really lets you appreciate the clean taste of the chicken and the texture of the skin, which is prized. It's very smooth, almost gelatinous when done right.
Okay, and the rice is key, too, right?
Oh, absolutely critical. The rice is cooked separately, but uses the fat rendered from the chicken and the poaching broth. So every single grain is infused with this rich, savory, chickeny goodness that's incredibly fragrant.
And the dipping sauces?
Usually 3. A chili sauce, often bright and tangy, ginger scallion oil, which is fragrant and savory, and sometimes a thick, dark soy sauce. The combination is just perfect.
It makes my mouth water just thinking about it. Okay, beyond chicken, it's an island. Seafood must be huge.
Huge. And the best way to experience it is hitting one of the big seafood markets, like the first market in Sanya. It's an event.
Describe it. What's it like?
It's sensory overload.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine rows and rows of tanks and buckets just teeming with live seafood. Crabs, lobsters, prawns, all kinds of fish you might not recognize. Shellfish, sea cucumbers. Everything is alive and moving.
And the process is unique, right? You don't just eat at a restaurant there.
Not typically for the best experience. The system is you buy the seafood directly from the market vendors.
So you pick out your fish, your prawns.
Exactly. You point, they weigh it, you agree on the price per pound or kilo. You're in total control of selecting your ingredients.
Then what? You take your bag of swimming creatures? Where?
You take your bag to one of the nearby processing restaurants. There are dozens surrounding the market. These places are usually pretty basic, no frills.
And they just cook what you brought.
Precisely. You hand over your seafood, tell them how you want it cooked, steamed with garlic, stir-fried with ginger, grilled, whatever, and they charge you a processing fee based on the weight or number of items.
That guarantees freshness, I guess. Straight from the tank to the wok.
Maximum freshness. It's a fantastic system. But
here's the warning.
Here's the warning. Because it's a market system with negotiation, it's also ripe for scams, especially targeting tourists.
What's the main thing to watch out for?
Price gouging. The classic move is they quote you one price per kilo, you get distracted, they weigh it quickly, bag it, and suddenly the total price is way higher than you expected.
So the key is?
Confirm the price per unit clearly before anything goes in the bag. And maybe watch the scale if you can. Better yet, avoid the overly aggressive touts trying to drag you into their specific stall or restaurant.
Stick to the system. Buy it yourself from a regular market stall, then take it to a separate processing place.
That's the safest bet. Follow where the locals seem to be going. It's usually cheaper and less stressful.
Good tip. Okay, besides the big meals, what about simple pleasures? Fruit, drinks.
Oh yeah, the tropical fruit is everywhere and amazing. Mangoes especially are fantastic in Hainan. And fresh coconuts are ubiquitous.
Just chopped open on the street corner.
Exactly. Vendor takes a big cleaver, whacks the top off, sticks a straw in. Instant chilled coconut water. Perfect for the humidity.
Any other must-try local dishes? Something unique?
You should definitely try Bolulu noodles. Belufin. It's a real local specialty.
What are they like?
They're thick, chewy rice noodles served in this distinctive, milky-looking broth. It's savory, but has a subtle sweetness, maybe from peanuts or something similar. Really hearty and comforting. Very different from noodle soups elsewhere in China.
Sounds interesting. Anything for the really adventurous eaters? I read about some unusual stuff.
Well, yeah. If you explore the local markets, especially in Haiku, you might find things like sea worms or specific types of local shellfish that have quite a strong taste.
Things that might challenge a Western palate.
Potentially, yeah. They're part of the authentic local scene, prepared simply, but, not essential for having a great food experience. There's plenty of amazing, more familiar stuff like the chicken and seafood to keep you happy.
Yeah, I think I'll stick with the garlic scallops and wenchang chicken. Okay, let's shift from eating to doing. Activities. Hainan isn't just beaches, right? There's culture, nature.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you have to start with the most iconic landmark, the symbol of Hainan scale and maybe its ambition, the Nanshan Temple complex.
And specifically, that giant Guanyin statue, you mentioned it earlier, 108 meters tall.
108 meters. It's immense. Yeah. Taller than the Statue of Liberty, as you said. And it stands on its own man-made island, connected by this long causeway, just visually staggering.
Is there symbolism to it? I heard it has 3 faces.
It does. Very significant. One face looks inland, towards China, offering blessings. The other 2 faces look out over the South China Sea, symbolizing peace and compassion extending to the rest of the world.
Wow, so it's a major pilgrimage site as well as a tourist attraction.
Definitely. The whole Nanshan complex is huge, beautifully landscaped. You need a good chunk of a day to see it properly. It's a definite must-do.
Okay, from the spiritual heights down into the jungle, Hainan has rainforests, too.
Yes, the interior is very lush and mountainous. And there are a couple of main ways to experience it, offering quite different vibes.
What's the first option? Yanoda.
Yanoda Rainforest Cultural Tourism Zone. Think of this as the jungle theme park option. It's very developed, very activity-focused.
Like zip lines and stuff?
Exactly. Zip lining, and they have one of those big glass bridges suspended over the canopy. Seems almost mandatory now.
Right, the photo op spot.
Yeah. And they also offer something called canyoning, which sounds pretty active, basically climbing up waterfalls and traversing streams. So great for families, people looking for managed adventure in nature.
What if you want something a bit calmer, more about the views?
Then you'd head to the Yalong Bay Tropical Paradise Forest Park. It's right near the luxury resorts in Yalong Bay.
And the focus there is?
Views. Spectacular views. They have elevated walkways and observation platforms looking back down over that beautiful crescent shape of Yalong Bay. It's more about appreciating the scenery, taking photos, a gentler walk, less adrenaline, more panorama.
Makes sense. Now, Hainan also has indigenous cultures, right? The Lian Niao people.
Yes, they have a long history on the island, predating the Han Chinese majority by centuries.
Is there a way for tourists to learn about them respectfully?
The main place set up for this is Binglingu, which means Betel Nut Valley. It's a cultural park showcasing Li and Miao traditions.
What do you see there?
Traditional weaving demonstrations, dance performances, exhibits on their history and way of life. You walk through replica villages.
Okay, but let's be honest. Sometimes these cultural parks can feel a bit staged, like a human zoo.
That's the inherent tension, and it's important to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Yes, it is curated. It's structured for tourists. Performances are scheduled. It can feel commercialized.
But there's another side to it.
There is. These parks provide vital employment for people from these communities, and they offer a platform, however imperfect, for preserving and showcasing traditions, languages, crafts, music that are genuinely under threat from modernization.
So the advice isn't necessarily to avoid it.
I'd say go, but go with awareness. Appreciate the skills and the history, but also be mindful of the context. It's complex. Be respectful.
Understood. Okay, let's head back to the coast. Island hopping. There's one island that gets heavily marketed, right? Wuzizu, the Maldives of China.
That's the one. And visually, parts of it really do live up to that hype. The water clarity around Wuzizu is probably the best near Sanya.
So, great for snorkeling and diving.
Definitely the top spot for those activities accessible from Sanya. The sand is white and soft, too. It looks like the tropical paradise posters.
But I sense a but coming.
A very big but. Crowds. This place is unbelievably popular, especially with domestic tour groups.
Like busy. Or really busy.
Think peak season Disney World levels of busy. Seriously. Long queues for the ferry to get there, long queues for everything on the island.
And it's not all-inclusive once you arrive.
Far from it. It operates on a system of expensive add-ons. You pay for the ferry, then you pay extra for snorkeling gear rental, you pay extra for the electric cart to get around the island easily, you pay extra for lockers.
Wow. So beautiful, but potentially stressful and expensive.
Exactly. You need to go in with managed expectations. It's highly organized, highly commercialized fun. If you're looking for a quiet, deserted beach vibe, this is absolutely not it. Efficiency over tranquility.
That's really crucial context. Okay, knowing all this, let's talk about what people can maybe skip. Save some time or money or hassle, any scenic spots that aren't worth it.
I'd probably suggest being selective about Sanya. It translates to the end of the earth.
Seems dramatic. Historically important.
Hugely important, historically. It was literally seen as the edge of the known world, a place of exile in imperial times. Lots of poetry written about it.
But what's actually there for a tourist today?
You pay a pretty steep entrance fee to see a couple of large rocks on a beach with inscriptions on them. The beach itself isn't particularly special compared to others nearby.
So the historical significance outweighs the visual appeal for most modern tourists.
I think so, yeah. Unless you're really into that specific history, the cost and crowds might not feel worth it just to see some famous rocks.
Okay, what else can be skipped? My vote goes back to the food.
Let me guess. The dodgy seafood restaurants with the aggressive touts.
Exactly. Skip those entirely. Stick to the market system, buy it yourself, get it processed, avoid the potential scams and inflated bills.
Solid advice, I'd add. Don't plan your trip solely around surfing unless you know exactly where you're going.
Why is that? No good waves.
In the main tourist areas around Sanya, the waves are generally quite small and gentle. Great for swimming, paddleboarding, but not consistent or powerful enough for serious surfing.
So if surfing is your main goal, you need to head elsewhere on the island.
Yeah, places like Wanning on the eastern coast have a known surf scene. But it's a dedicated trip, not something you just casually do from your Yalong Bay resort. Other parts of Asia are generally better bets for a pure surf holiday.
Good point. And one last skip, maybe a logistical one.
Don't try to see the whole island by moving hotels every night or two. It's just too big for a typical vacation length.
All that packing and unpacking, checking in and out.
Yeah, it eats into your relaxation time. Better to pick a base, Sanya, or Haiku and use that fantastic high-speed rail for day trips. See the highlights without the constant moving.
Okay, so pulling all this together, the modern infrastructure, the luxury resorts, the local culture, the crowds, the food. What's the actual vibe of Hainan? What defines the experience?
If I had to pick one word, it's contrast. Everything about Hainan feels defined by contrast.
How so?
You have this incredibly modern, almost futuristic infrastructure. The sleek bullet trains, the smooth highways, the shiny airports right alongside stunning natural beauty, like the rainforests and the coastline.
And social contrast, too.
Big time. You've got the hyper-manicured, expensive international bubble of a place like Yalong Bay. Then, just a short drive away, you're in the middle of chaotic, noisy, wonderfully authentic street life in downtown Sanya, or the old Kilu district in Haiku.
So it's not some sleepy, undeveloped island?
Not at all. It feels planned. It feels developed, heavily driven by state investment, and that has huge advantages.
Like safety and convenience.
Exactly. It's incredibly safe. Things generally work very well. The infrastructure makes it easy and comfortable to get around. That's a massive plus for many travelers.
But the downside might be...
Sometimes it can lack that feeling of spontaneity, maybe that rustic charm you find in places that grew more organically. As we saw with Wuzugu, sometimes efficiency and organization take precedence over, maybe, soul. You have to actively look for the real Hainan outside the designated zone sometimes.
Which leads to the direct comparison. If you're choosing between Hainan and, say, Phuket or Bali, what are Hainan's unique selling points?
Number one, still, is that visa-free access for those 59 nationalities. It's just so easy.
Huge advantage. What else?
The quality of the high-end resorts, particularly in Yalong Bay, is genuinely world-class. Absolutely top-tier luxury. And third, you get this fascinating glimpse into modern China, its development, its culture, but in a tropical setting. It's a unique blend. Organized fun, maybe.
Okay, and what are the strengths of the competition, like Phuket or Bali?
They probably still win if you're looking for a more laid-back, rustic, backpacker-friendly vibe.
Hmm.
They definitely have a bigger, more established international party scene.
Better for diving and surfing generally.
Generally, yes.
Hmm.
More established infrastructure specifically for those activities. And crucially, the language barrier tends to be lower. English is much more widely spoken in tourist areas of Thailand and Bali.
So it really comes down to what you were looking for in a trip. Neither is definitively better. They just offer different things.
Exactly. Know yourself, know what you want from your vacation. Hainan is brilliant if you value ease of access, safety, comfort, high-end facilities, and that unique cultural overlay.
All right, let's bring it home. Final verdict time. After digging through everything, Hainan Island, worth the trip.
For me, it's a clear yes. That combination of easy entry, fantastic unique food, I'm still thinking about that Wenchang chicken, and genuinely impressive sights like the Nanshan Guanyin. It's compelling.
Yeah, it offers a really interesting mix. You get the relaxing beach holiday elements, but also this deep dive into modern China's development and culture.
It manages to be both comfortable and fascinating.
I agree. Strong yes for me, too. It seems particularly well-suited for resort travelers, families who value safety and convenience, or maybe that culturally curious tourist who wants top-notch infrastructure alongside the sightseeing.
If you want a tropical vacation that feels different from the usual Southeast Asia run,
Yeah.
but is logistically simpler than you might expect for China, Hainan really delivers.
And that very efficiency, that level of planning, leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? Something for you, the listener, to think about.
Right. Hainan, with its focus on master planned zones, high-speed rail, safety, and control. It feels like a model for a certain type of future tourism. Clean, predictable, comfortable.
So the question is this highly efficient, potentially slightly sanitized version of paradise the future of global tropical travel, especially if safety and ease become even bigger priorities?
Or, in gaining all that efficiency and predictability, do we lose some of the essential soul, the chaos, the spontaneity, the organic charm that draws us to older, less meticulously planned destinations?
Something to ponder. Does the future look more like Hainan or more like Bali?
A question for another time, perhaps.
Indeed. That's all the time we have for this deep dive into Hainan, the Hawaii of China.
Hope you found it useful. Until next time, safe travels.